In a peaceful countryside village, there was a boy named Jameel. He was born into a family with a long-standing tradition of baking. His father, Omar, was a skilled baker who could transform simple ingredients like flour, water, and salt into fragrant, golden, and crispy loaves of bread. Since childhood, Jameel had been mesmerized by his father's work. He loved watching the white dough being kneaded into beautiful shapes, and he adored the warm aroma of the oven filling the house every morning. But as he grew older, he realized that baking in this poor rural village did not bring much wealth. His friends gradually left, searching for better opportunities in the city. One day, when Jameel confided in his father about wanting to give up baking to earn money in the city, Omar just smiled, poured him a cup of hot tea, and began telling a story. A long time ago, in a small village, there was a young man named Nadim. His family was poor, but he had an intense passion for leather shoes. Every day, Nadim would spend hours observing the oldest shoemaker in the village. Marcel didn't just make shoes, he breathed the soul of a true artisan into each pair. Every stitch, every layer of leather was crafted with the utmost care, turning each shoe into a masterpiece. One day, Nadim bravely asked, "Master, how can I become the best shoemaker?" Marcel looked at him, his wise old eyes shining with wisdom. "Work not for money, but for the love of shoes. If you do well, money will come on its own." From that day on, Nadim never stopped practicing. Every day he trained his hands, cutting leather, sewing stitches, refining every detail. While other apprentices gave up out of exhaustion, he persisted. He pushed himself forward, working harder than anyone else without needing reminders or praise. Years passed, and Nadim became a true master of his craft. One day, a wealthy merchant visited the village and happened to buy a pair of shoes from him. The shoes were so soft, durable, and beautifully crafted that the merchant immediately placed an order for hundreds of pairs to sell in the city. And so, Nadim achieved success not because he chased after money, but because he remained steadfast in his passion. Jameel remained silent for a long time after hearing the story. Nadim's tale reminded him of his own initial love for baking. Could he become a master baker like Nadim had become a master shoemaker? From that day on, Jameel changed. He no longer complained about baking being hard work, or that it didn't bring in much money. Instead, he told himself, "I will make the best bread, not for money, but to serve people." Every day he woke up before dawn and practiced diligently. The sound of kneading dough thump, thump echoed through the small kitchen. The aroma of flour mixed with the rich scent of yeast filled the air. He tirelessly experimented with new recipes, undeterred by failures. Sometimes the bread was too dry, sometimes it was too soggy, but he never gave up. Gradually, Jameel's bread became better and better. The villagers began spreading word about the boy who baked as skillfully as his father. Their family's bakery became busier, but Jameel was still not satisfied. He wanted to create the best bread in the world. One day, a famous chef from the big city visited the village while traveling. He stepped into the bakery, picked up a loaf of bread, and broke it in half. Crack! A crisp sound echoed, followed by the irresistible fragrance of freshly baked bread. He took a bite, and his eyes lit up. Who made this bread? Jameel hesitantly stepped forward. The chef looked at him and smiled. "Would you like to come to the city and train with me?" The whole village buzzed with excitement. A rural boy being invited to the city by a renowned chef? Jameel knew this was his opportunity to pursue a bigger dream. He turned to his father, his eyes gleaming with hope. Omar simply nodded, a gentle smile on his face. Years later, the name Jameel became famous across the country. He was not just a baker, he was a true artist. His bread was served in the finest restaurants in the land. But when asked about the secret to his success, Jameel simply smiled and said, "I didn't work for money. I worked because I love baking. I worked because I wanted to bring people the best bread." And then he retold the story of Nadim the shoemaker from long ago. Jameel's story inspired countless young people. They realized that Work for passion, not for money. When you love what you do, it will never feel like a burden. Focus on one field and become an expert. Jameel didn't chase after everything. He focused solely on bread and turned it into an art. Persist and practice every day. Success doesn't come overnight. Only those who refuse to give up will reach the top. Serve others, and create value. If you create something valuable, the world will naturally come to you. Believe in your ideas. If Jameel hadn't believed he could create the best bread, he would never have become a legend. And so, Jameel's story was not just about bread, it was about the secret of success, inspiring generations of young dreamers. Thank you for listening to this story until the end. I wish you beautiful days ahead and a journey full of brilliance. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe to the channel to follow more inspiring stories. See you in the next one.